This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Boobies! Hi.
Hello, and welcome to
Boobies.
Boobies. That's right. We're your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And today we're here to talk to you about a lovely bloody time.
Yeah, a very bloody Valentine.
Yes.
In honor of Valentine's Day that is just passed. We wanted to cover the 1981 Canadian slasher film directed by George Mahalka and written by John
Mahalka's how I was guessing.
John Beard. And it is My Bloody Valentine. Yeah. Which is such
Starring
a
Paul Kellman, Lori
Mhm.
Halier, and Neil Affleck.
I wonder if there's any relation.
I know, me too. I saw that and thought, I wonder if I should click on his name.
Click
and
it.
then I didn't.
Nope. I don't see any relation whatsoever. And
He's worked as an animation timer and director on The Simpsons and Family Guy.
Wait, is he dead? No, he's still alive. Okay. We are basically following it's kind of like your classic 80s vibes type of slasher film, and we follow a group of oversexed and horny they're teenagers, right? Because it's giving like they're 20-year-olds, or they're all drinking beer, so never mind. I don't know. They could, but like the way they were
small town life.
Yeah, because they were treated like the way they kept calling them like kids and stuff and son.
Yeah. I called them kids in my notes, but I think that they're
Me too.
more like in their 20s.
Right? Like young adults.
Yeah.
YA.
Which is kids to us, because now we're old.
That's true. And we have a killer who is on a bloody rampage, who is getting it's not necessarily revenge. Is it avenging? It's just a lunatic who doesn't like dances. No dances for nobody. No dancing
Just like Carrie.
whatsoever. Yeah, very much so. And yeah, is there anything else you want to add before we jump right in?
Just that we're back, baby.
We are back. Oh yeah, that's right. We've been
on a very long hiatus.
Yeah, just taking a little creative break.
For those of you who don't know, I moved out of Waco and now I live in DFW.
Yeah.
So now we have to record this cross country.
Cross straight? Yeah. Cross I-35.
And cross I-35.
And I'm still in Waco, so we're making it work. But we also have had some life changes as well. And have had a really good I'd say time to just kind of refresh and now be excited and ready to like tackle another New Year boobies and watching a whole bunch of scary movies. It's quite a list we've got. But yeah, My Bloody Valentine. You want to take us away?
Oh goodness! Can you hear the cats using their litter box?
No, I actually couldn't hear. You gave yourself away.
I can hear it, and as I'm in my closet, I have to record. And I wanted to try in my closet today to see if it would make less sound than yesterday's. But the cat's litter box is right in the bathroom because my closet's attached to the guest bathroom.
Yeah.
And so,
It's fine.
okay.
These mics are really good at not, because all yesterday the dogs were barking and you couldn't hear it, could you?
No, but I have my headphones attached to the mic, so I can hear myself, and then you're a
Oh.
little muted
Oh, interesting.
because I'm
Got
trying to
it.
hear what is being picked up, and I'm hearing the scratching of their litter box through the
Mm-hmm.
headphones. So I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
pick it up or not. Hopefully not. Anyways, we start off in a mine,
We
and it
do.
really just gets right to it. There was no like credits or anything really. I mean, there were some, but
Mm-hmm.
we got like the whatever film house it was,
Mm-hmm. The production company.
like, yeah, one of those, and then
Mm-hmm.
it just went right into the movie, and I was like, I'm used to there being like 4 different production companies on things now,
Mm-hmm.
and there being a whole lot of like to do before the movie even starts, and this one just was like one of them, and then it just went right into it. And I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah. We're
we're
here.
doing this."
We're down under. And it's
I wasn't
dark. Yeah.
I wasn't ready. I didn't have my notes up and stuff. I was like, "Ah!" I had to
You
pause
had
it.
no lube whatsoever. Dry bones.
Raw
Well,
dogging it.
we are in here and we are in the mine, and someone's getting freaky in the mines. Someone's getting
Yeah, one of
soused.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, me
Mainly,
either.
I also just thought they were all men, and I thought they were all just going down there, and then all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
she takes her top off and it's boobs, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What the hell?"
Mm-hmm.
I was a little shocked.
Someone's having some frisky time on company time. Maybe it wasn't even
Yeah,
company time, but they are having some sexy time down there. And it's very like 1980s. We're gonna zoom in close on the body and on her and her panties, you know,
yeah,
and
she had her boobs out. Good
and
starting it with a classic boob shot.
and a lot of weird like fondling of the mask and like
Yeah, it was very
all.
sensual, and then the
Mm-hmm.
way that she was stroking the gas mask was like,
A bit reminiscent of a penis.
yeah, it reminded me of the shower scene in Carrie at the
Yeah,
beginning, just with
just a
all the
bit,
sensual shots. I mean,
and the
not as
noises
risque, I
and the
think. Oh my
breathing.
god, the
What was
cats are
that?
like climbing the clothes.
Oh, bleep
And then
bloop.
I transported stuff in trash bags,
Mhm,
like wrapped my clothes up in trash bags and brought them.
mhm.
And so I still have some things in trash bags, and they're crawling on the trash bags right now. And then
I
now
see
one
it.
just dropped down next to me.
I heard the
Maybe
flop.
recording in the closet isn't a better idea.
No, I think it was better where you were at the last episode.
Should I stop and move?
It is up to you. Is it would we need to restart?
No, I don't think so. We can just keep going.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think you're
Okay.
what was that? It sounded like
I
something like squealed.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
maybe
didn't
that
hear
was
that.
me. Anyways, we are getting all sexy and sensual with the mask miner guy, and then out of nowhere, when it seems like they're about to get even hot and heavy, he just snaps and pushes her up against the wall. And I'm assuming there's like something there or something, or
Yeah, so earlier whenever
he
they
put the axe
she took
there.
off her top, he put the axe down there,
Yeah, got
and
it.
it's a pickaxe, so it's
Mm-hmm.
got a pointy end on the one side,
Mm-hmm.
and it zoomed in. She had like a little heart tattoo on over her
That
heart.
was cute.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just like apparently the tattoo pissed him off, and that's what it seemed like because he like was like stroking the tattoo, and then he was just like yeah, and kills her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he had
Mm-hmm.
pushed her up against the back of that pickaxe. I think it's called a pickaxe, right? I think.
It is, yeah. And she starts to let out her very well practiced screen, what's it called? Screen Queen screen?
Screen
Scream?
Queen
Oh,
scream.
say that 6
Say
times.
that.
Screen,
Yeah.
I cannot. I can't even say it one time. And so, and then immediately it just cuts to title card and it's My Bloody Valentine. And, I really like this title for a
Yeah, I did
movie.
too. I
It is
thought the
such a
title
good
card
title.
placement was good,
Oh, yeah.
like where it happened and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think I liked how it like bled. I thought
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. I liked the font, even though it's pretty like I don't know, like rudimentary font.
Yeah, it's nothing too like fancy or anything, but it really have had a good effect.
Yeah, I liked it. So we're back in a noisy mine. They're saying that methane's going to blow everything up someday. I thought that was going to have more
Bigger.
like, yeah, I
Mhm.
thought that was foreshadowing.
Well, because
Like,
also, well, that's now, right? That's right now. That's our gang right now.
yeah,
There was already an explosion, like in the past. So it's the way
yeah,
that they're saying it as if like it's a hypothetical, like as if it hasn't already happened again. That's what struck me as odd.
yeah.
Because I was like, didn't we just see like the whole like an explosion in the beginning? Or no, well, I mean, we see it later, but yeah.
But they
Um,
tell you how 20 years ago there was an explosion. Yeah.
yeah.
And
But
yeah,
yes.
they're being real chill about it. And I'm like, no, I mean, I feel like everyone knows that being in a mine is a very dangerous
Mm,
thing.
yeah, Hunger Games. Come on now.
Yeah. Um, but then basically we're in the showers, we're showering up, and all the
I like
men
this
are,
scene.
yeah, because it's a bunch of naked men.
It's a bunch
No,
of
I'm just
guys in their birthday suits, showering up, lathering, horsing around. You know what I'm saying? Um,
throwing soap
yep, they
at
were
each other. Can
actually.
you imagine getting hit in the face with a bar of soap? That would
They're
fucking
really
hurt.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
especially
are.
don't
It'd be
people
like
put
getting
bars
like
that.
a
Well,
hockey puck to the face.
isn't that like how people who put like butter in socks or like sticks of butter or like a bar of soap in a sock and then you're like,
Smack people with it.
mm-hmm. Um, And so there is this talk of one of the guys basically bringing up that TJ and Axel have like the same love interests, and she used to be with TJ, but now she's with Axel. But then TJ's like, "Man, I don't care," but like obviously cares
Yeah.
because he leaves immediately.
They mention it, and I was like, I couldn't really tell who Axel was in the
Mhm.
shower just
Yeah.
because there was so much happening and there were so many men in the shower.
Mhm.
I was like, I couldn't tell which one. They all looked kind of stunned by the comment.
Mhm.
And then we haven't met Sarah yet. So I was like, who the fuck is Sarah?
Nope.
But we do meet her eventually. And then they finish up in the shower after we learn about that little love triangle going on. And
Mhm.
then they all head off to the bars and we get that ding ding diddly ding 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 kind of
Very
music.
Dixie, right? Isn't that one song or
Yeah,
like yeah,
yeah,
very
very
much that.
like
And even
uh
like how we have
Three
the
Stooges kind of music.
and even the visual, like it's sped up a little bit so they all look funky and like it's very hunky dory. I feel like the word is.
Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
cute. It was rowdy. And then we
Yeah.
passed the sign saying, "Welcome to Valentine Bluffs."
Mm-hmm. And
Valentine Bluffs.
we end up at the like courthouse type of situation, like town hall kind of thing.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
something.
Where the
And
girls are decorated.
they meet up. Every single one is paired off, basically. No
Mm-hmm.
one is without a boyfriend here or a
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend. And so they all are just kind of goofing off, horsing around. And then we find out that this is the first Valentine dance in 20 years.
20
Uh,
years.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2-0. It's been a hot second. And we find that out by Miss Mabel and the mayor talking.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, it's a big deal. Like,
It is. It is. And but Mr. Mayor doesn't want to make a big deal out of it because well, we don't really like I guess it doesn't specifically say right now, but he's like, we want to get past all of that. What happened 20 years ago, essentially, never again. And so we have her and him talking as they're walking into the building, and we have all of the girls decorating, and the guys are talking to them. We, like you said, all that's going on, and then they walk in, and then the mayor has that interaction with TJ, and that's when we find out that that's his son.
Yeah, I was like,
and at first I thought he was just saying son in like figurative.
Hey, son.
Exactly, yeah. But then I was like, oh, it's really his son. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, I feel like this is where I really got TJ's name.
Mm-hmm.
I know they mentioned it earlier, but everything was happening so fast and I wasn't sure TJ was like a main character yet, but now they kept showing him enough to where I was like, okay, this one's TJ. I need to know that. And we also figure out that he's newly back to the mines.
Yes.
He went somewhere. We don't really know where, and you never really know where he goes.
To the city, I feel like.
Yeah, and then failed. But yeah, he went off somewhere and came back, and now someone else with his girl, and he's all moody because of it.
Yeah, and he never wrote her, he never called, and so yeah, tough shit happens. Life happens, man.
Yep.
And so we have them. What happens? This is whenever CJ leaves because he's like, being all moody and broody, whatever.
Yeah, because he was just so blatantly staring at Sarah and Axel. And, because they were being all lovey-dovey through the ladder and stuff. Yeah. And then he gets pretty pissed off and goes off. And then I think it was Howard.
Yeah.
Or someone, one of the goofballs who it comes, or maybe the guy who had the split open head because they scared Mabel and the mayor whenever they opened the door, and the guy was like all bloody and stuff. Yeah. And I think it might have been him, but he was like, oh yeah, Mr. Mayor, someone left this here for you, and gives him this big Valentine heart shape. It looks like a box of chocolates.
It does. Yeah. Looks like a very cute, sincere gift from someone, and it's almost Valentine's Day, so it's just the perfect time.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, did you do this, Mabel? Like, was this your doing? And then he like looks at the chief, the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, no, not me. But it was just funny how he looked at him. And then he was like, well, I know it's not my wife because she's got me on some sort of diet. Yeah. Is what he said. But yeah, then he gets into the car with the chief, and we are going to actually open the box now, and we find that it is a anatomical heart. It's a real heart. Somebody's heart's been carved out of their chest.
It happens.
And I'm assuming it's homegirl from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Because which also...
Because they later on say that it was a young girl who was like in her 30s or something. So yeah, I guess you can assume it was her.
Yeah, because nobody else is missing up to this point or anything like that. And we have them freaking out. And then he's like, it can't be happening again. And we have the chief like kind of pulling over, turning a siren on and pulling around, and this random dog that just starts chasing the car.
Yeah, the dog was like, wah, wah, wah,
wah. I don't paid actor. And then we are at the
job well.
We are at the bar.
But yeah, so they rush off back to the main area, and then we flash to the bartender, and he is basically the harbinger of doom.
That's what I wrote down in my notes.
That's what I wrote down too. And he is,
good old harbinger,
laying the law of what happened, saying that basically it all started 20 years ago at the Valentine's Day dance. Everyone except for 7 minors was at the dance, but 7 of them, there were 7 at the mines. 5 of them were still down below with 2 supervisors up top.
Yep.
And basically the supervisors wanted to get to the dance. And so they
they
were
left in
just
a
like,
hurry.
yeah, and they neglected their duties and they were like, okay, bye.
Mhm.
And then an explosion happens because they left before checking the methane levels, and the men were buried alive, all except for one man who was named Harry.
Harry Warden.
Harry Warden. And he then goes to spend the next year in a like institution.
Careful with your words.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And then basically it reminded me of Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And but he comes back, and then after a year comes back out the Valentine's Day dance 1 year later, or just a year later, and then kills the 2 supervisors and rips out their hearts.
Yep.
And
It's
then,
pretty like you said, Michael Myers, it gives exactly that. Even the way it was kind of like shot a little bit.
yeah, it
Mhm.
definitely did remind me of it. There
Yeah.
probably was a little inspiration parallel.
Mhm.
And he basically warns that they need to never have a dance again. And
Never.
because then he'll come back and
Mhm. Yeah.
he'll do more damage. So the town basically heeds warning and decides not to participate in dances for the next 20 years. But then after 20 years, it becomes hearsay, and they're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
It's
they
like a new
obviously,
it's a new
yeah,
generation, so it's like tales. It's an urban legend at this point.
yeah.
Mhm.
And because all the kids, as the, what's his name? Bartender is named Newbie.
I don't know. I never got his name, to be honest.
I think his name is Newbie.
Gotcha.
And basically all the kids are just blowing him off, and
Mhm.
they're saying like, oh, that's a load of horse shit. This is,
Mhm.
just an urban legend. And they're
Yeah.
not taking him seriously. And he's like, mark my words,
Rue the day.
yeah, you're gonna really see that
You're
I
gonna rue the
wasn't
day,
joking.
Carly. Rue. You know what that's from?
No.
Neville Popperman from iCarly.
Oh, okay. I figured it was maybe iCarly because of Carly, and I was like, I don't know any other characters that are named
From that
Carly.
show? Oh, yeah.
And I don't
But
know any other characters named Carly in general.
that's true, actually.
I know
Huh.
Carl from Jimmy Neutron. Yeah.
What's her name? Mrs. Oh,
Oh, it's been too long.
it's like a chicken something. It's something polk, something like
Pollock?
poultry related. But anyways, we are having dinner with the mayor and the chief. They're on a date, and no, I'm just kidding. They're actually at the Corners, and they are trying to get information on this heart that he had in the box, and they're also trying to get information on whether or not Harry Walden is still in the institution that he's supposed to be held at, in the facilities. And it's really funny because I guess, it's back in the day. And they're just like, yeah, we don't know. We'll call you. We'll figure it out and let you know. Like, essentially. And we have the I was about to call him chief, the mayor, who's really like, he's freaking out, but he also doesn't, it's very much like we can't let the rest of the townsfolk or the kids know what's going on because it will ensue a panic, and they want to keep everything normal for the Valentine's dance that is about to occur.
Yeah. And so then basically after that, we flash to Miss Mabel, and we get some creepy miner who we can assume is Harry Warden.
Yeah.
That's kind of the entity.
Yes.
And he's like, we're getting some like first person like POV shots
Hmm.
of him kind of like stalking Miss Mabel. And then he leaves another Valentine for her. And at this point, I thought, oh, maybe he's not going to kill her because I was like, oh, what a sweet little old lady. But
Right.
then she opens the note and it says, roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you. And
Yeah, I
then,
thought it was really sick.
done.
I thought it was a pretty cool poem.
Yeah, it was. I liked all of the little notes that he left. He was pretty witty,
Yeah, I
and
agree with
most of
you.
them. Some of them are like the one about the make it thrice was maybe a little dumb, but
Hmm.
this one
No,
was good.
this one was good, and especially for being the first one, kind of setting it
Yeah.
up, and especially starting with the roses are red, violets are blue, because that's so typical Valentine's, you know?
Yeah. It's classic. You got to do
Yeah.
it. And he made it nice and haunting.
Wow. Hmm.
And then he kills Mabel. Yep, he just kills her right dead.
It's so sad. She really gave final girl vibes.
Yeah, she put up a fight for a
She
good
did.
second. She kind of ran away screaming and then she gets killed.
And then
Um,
she it's really fucking crazy that we end up seeing where we end up finding her later. Because also I kind of want to be put in the dryer. That seems like fun.
yeah, I've always wanted to go for a spin.
I've been stretching a lot more, so I'm more
Tumble
flexible
around.
now.
Now you can hold on and then
Mm-hmm.
ride through.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
so cute. I ended up putting up captions down on mine, and it's like picking up and reading all of our words, like as we're speaking. Oh my god, it's so weird. No, stop reading my mind.
I saw that you turned captions on and I was like, what is happening?
Wait, do you see them on your side?
No,
Oh, you should do it. It's pretty cool. Actually,
but
no, I'm gonna turn it off because it's really distracting.
it told me that you turned them on.
Oh, why would it sell me out like that?
I don't know. It does everything. It sells
Okay,
everyone out.
so
But
we are back with the boys, right? The boys, the
yeah, they're at like
boys.
a car yard
Uh-huh.
or something, like a old where they've got all the junkyard and they've got all the cars that are like been repoed or something. And they're like half smashed in and been in an accident and stuff. And then they're just sitting there. Axel's playing the harmonica, and then I guess TJ comes up, tries to kind of extend an olive branch, but also just really probably to pick a fight.
He always has like kind of this moody attitude too. Even when he's trying to
Yeah,
like, I guess like you said, extend the olive branch. It's kind of like it was like half-assed.
yeah. It was
Mhm.
like mom held his hand and told him to go apologize, and then he didn't actually mean it.
Yeah.
But he goes and they basically start fighting over Sarah.
Hmm.
And then my notes go to they got no records on Harry
Yeah,
somehow.
because they just have that little moment and they're talking about it and they're skerfuffling over Sarah. And then it cuts to the mayor and the chief, and yes, they don't know where Harry is because nobody can find him.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back.
Somehow they've got no records on him, which I
Mhm.
just can for the life of me not understand how like I feel like most of those places should go back at least 20 years.
Yeah,
Like have and he only died 5 years ago. So it's like
I don't
why
know.
that we found out. Sorry, I just
It,
spoiled everything for y'all.
it gave, but it also gave like like little town, like you said, and it's the 1980s, so that would have meant that like he died 5 years prior, so 78, 77. Like I feel like that might have been possible back then because I feel like there probably weren't as many like regulations or people checking on to see if like people were actually in these type of facilities.
I'm thinking a
All
mother
like
and
all
how
like
they had a dead baby in a box still. I want that kind of record keeping.
gotcha. Well,
Or not
we are
mother,
not
mama,
fortunate. Mama. Okay, I was like I'm trying to Mother is the one with Javier
Jennifer
Bardem and Jennifer
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I
movie. Well, the
I
first time I saw it, I was shocked.
Shocked? Oh,
Yes.
because of
The end. Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything at the end.
Don't
But
give it away. All right. So,
I won't. But we should cover that sometime.
we should. We Yeah, we could. And so I know where to put it. And so we are back with the girls, right? And now they're talking about the boys. It's is it Sarah and what's her face? I forget the other Polly.
Yeah, and then we get a small mention of them saying, or the mayor saying, we should cancel the dance. And then
Yeah.
nothing really comes of it. But yeah, we're with
No.
Sarah and Patty
Yeah.
talking about the two boys. And
Yep.
so they are basically talking and just girl stuff, talking about, if she wants to be with TJ or not. And
Mhm.
then she basically is just like, I don't want to be with him, but like it's like
But
totally does.
Yeah, her body language and like everything else is giving way different than what she says. Because even when she's
Yeah.
with Axel, like when she sneaks off later to go by the jukebox, like it's very, and it's also super obvious. Like, and he's only like a table
Axel's
away.
just sitting right there. So yeah,
I love how she's just
noticeable.
like, I just want to go play some music. Do you mind? Like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
stop keeping tabs on me.
Mm-hmm. And so then it cuts to what's Chief is at the laundromat. Because
Yeah.
this is where the girls split off and they're gonna go do their own thing.
And they're stopping by Mabel's, and it's so gross that he smells something.
Yeah.
Like
Can
the
you
moment
imagine
he started
sizzling?
sniffing the air, I was like, oh no. But you
Yeah.
imagine if a body was in a dryer, like you ever put a shoe in a dryer?
Like a leather shoe?
Like, or just the sound.
Well, I guess you wouldn't put leather in a fucking dryer, but yes, I get what you mean.
Because the shoe's like bouncing around and knocking it off the drum and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I imagine this body must have sounded pretty loud.
And these are like really, really old dryers. So they're the ones that like tumble,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's wild.
I guess he didn't think anything of it. For movie's sake, we'll just, because this is a pretty epic death that she has, and putting her in the dryer was hardcore as fuck. So we'll let them have it. But I imagine it would have been really noisy.
Well, and then when he finally opens up the dryer next to her, and then he doesn't even get to open up the dryer, she just kind of like plops out.
Yeah, like, because like whenever you put a shoe in there, it knocks the door open sometimes. I always have to tape my dryer shut if I'm drying shoes. And so her body must have just like
I've never Yeah. And then like imagine as well, like you said, the smell, like it was like it's going in there longer and longer. It's just like sizzling and baking almost, I feel like.
Yeah.
But like it's different because dryer like heat waves are different from like oven heat waves. So it's like a different type of like burn. It's like a scorched, probably burning. I don't know. Yeah.
A slow, like a roast.
Yeah, a roast. Why don't people put meat in the dryer? Why don't we cook stuff in the dryer?
Probably because it'd get too beat up. Make a mess.
Oh, that's what she said. I don't know. Actually, never mind.
But yeah, they find Mabel in the dryer, and then they're like,
maybe it's Maybelline. No, maybe she's dead in the dryer.
And then we flash back to the boys.
To the miners. Yeah, they're working, right?
Yeah. And then Axel and TJ almost get in a fist fight in the mines.
Yes.
And then it's very short. Yeah, no. I was like, there's so many bad things that could happen around you. There's so many safety issues that we need to not be doing. And it's a quick scene because we basically just bounce right back to Chief and the mayor talking, and then they're basically deciding that they're going to cover it up and not tell. They're not going to call the town next door to help.
Nothing, bless you. Nothing ever good happens when people are trying to cover up a town murder. Ever.
Yeah. Mabel died of a heart attack. You got that?
Nothing
bring her out
else.
back. Yeah, they were really just trying to cover it up, and the mayor kind of was struggling with some like internal, is this the right thing to do? Because he kind of puts up a fight for a second, but then eventually just bends to the chief's will and is like, okay, fine. And this is where we get the next Valentine, right?
Yes, we do. I believe so, because it is given to because the miner's working, they're taking care of Mabel's body, all that stuff. But don't they tell the kids that there's no dance? And then TJ starts it.
Yeah, because they get the Valentine and it says it happened once, it happened twice, cancel the dance or it'll happen thrice.
Yeah, gotcha. Thrice.
And so thrice. Yeah, this was the one where I was like, not his best work.
Also, who uses thrice? What is thrice?
Yeah, it's a band.
Oh, is it? I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I think they're like a metal band.
That makes sense. It sounds like it would be a metal band. And then we have them telling the kids now, because of this, that the dance is canceled, and they're like, well, you can't cancel the dance because Mabel would have wanted us to have the dance anyway. She worked so hard to make this dance happen. So they're all bummed that it's not happening, and then we have it cutting to TJ basically abducting Sarah. He like puts her in the car and she's like, I don't want to go, but still gets in the car.
And she looks so willing.
Yeah.
She's got a giant smile on her face the whole time. And I was like, girl, you are not being forced.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No gun was held to her back. They end up going, he takes her, I guess, to like one of their spots that they used to go to whenever they were dating. And I love how he takes her and he's just like, do you remember? And then it's like, yeah, of course she remembers. It's not like it was like 20 years ago or anything.
Yeah.
It was like last summer.
They probably did it there. It gave me vibes that they did it.
Oh, yeah, they could have. So we have TJ and Sarah talking about like how, he didn't write and she was really disappointed. And so, of course, she had to move on because she wasn't just going to wait for him. Why would he have expected that? And then he's like, well, I failed and I didn't want to I didn't have anything basically to offer to you. And he felt embarrassed, I guess, and shamed by not being successful in wherever he went to. And so, and he's
which
just
is a pathetic excuse. Like he could have just written her anyways. Like I feel like he just left and
it feels like he left and thought that he was going to have better opportunities or something or whatever. And then because it didn't work out is now just falling back on her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's not having any of it. She's just kind of like, I don't want to be with either of you at this point. I think she kind of mentions or something like that, or makes a comment towards that. But he's trying his darndest. And she's really like you said earlier, like she went with him very willingly, so she's not like really playing that hard to get.
Yeah.
And then we have them
kissing,
canoodling.
Yep. And I was like, oh, she's still with Axel. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then we end up back at the bar and Axel's like, have you seen Sarah, to TJ? And he's like, it wasn't my turn to watch over her.
Yeah.
And we just got a bunch of macho
sass
bullshit. Yeah. Sass going on.
Because then we cut
Chief
to
is named Newbie.
Gotcha. Chief Newbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I don't remember getting the bartender's name, but we do have Sarah now she's walking home and it's dark and she's being followed. We get like POVs from someone walking around her. And then we have her that very being freaked out and it's, she's looking over her shoulder and then the chief pops up out of nowhere in front of her with a flashlight and freaks her out. But of course we thought it was Harry Warden at this point in his miner's outfit with the flashlight on its head. And
yeah, it was pretty scary. And the music was so suggestive.
It built it up.
Yeah, it really was like
Mhm.
Deenie Deenie. No, that's like Jaws, but
Very, but it
but you
is.
get
It's
the
very
idea.
Jaws, Michael Myers inspired. All these movies came out around this time, right before
Yeah.
it.
And so
Um,
it really had that same vibe. And then
mhm.
it leads up to a big explosion of sound and it just reaches out and it turns out to be Chief Newbie.
Yeah. And then he's like, Sarah. And she's like, oh, Chief. And then he's like, what are you doing out here? And she's like, just walking home. And then she's kind of like, oh, is there like trouble or something like that? Is something wrong? And then he's like, no, nothing's wrong. And I
Just doing my
guess,
nightly watch.
and I guess that's just kind of like their interaction. And then we get back to the kids and they're talking about throwing the party in the mines, at the mines. And that's whenever we have,
Our
what's his
bartender
face?
spitting
Bartender.
facts.
And he's
Yeah.
like trying to, once again warn them, like, y'all, be careful what y'all are talking about. Be careful what you mess around with because it's nothing to be playing around with.
Yeah, y'all mark my words. Harry Warden's gonna get all y'all. And also, I'm sorry, but having a party in a mine just sounds dumb.
It doesn't sound well.
I mean, I would want to go down into the mine to see it.
Okay, see, yes.
Like
Whenever they
they
were
do
getting
at
into
the
the
end.
carts, yes. Whenever they were getting
Yeah.
into the carts, half of me was like, "This is really stupid," but half of me was like, I would go down there, honestly.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I would want to explore it.
Yeah.
But I thought I at first thought they were literally suggesting to have the party down in the mines.
In the mines, yeah.
And I didn't realize that their rec house and everything was like in
which that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought they had a pool table down in the mine, like they brought it down because that's some like at one point in my life, my brothers and I were really into like forts and clubhouses, and we spent like a week digging out this giant hole so we could build an underground clubhouse.
I bet your parents were so
pleased. Rained. And well, they let us do it. They gave us some like wood to like reinforce the walls, but then it rained and
it got flooded.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
It really sucked.
I can only imagine.
We did build one fort that was like halfway on a tree, and then it had this like we used a papasan chair, so those like rounded wicker chairs, and we made it as like this sun roof. So we had like a skylight dome that was this chair, and then the rest of it was like wood and stuff. Like we nailed it together and stuff, made like this like tree house thing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It just was on the ground. It was like attached to a tree, but not in the tree.
Oh, got it. I've always wanted to build a tree house or have a tree house. So much work that goes into it. It's so meticulous, and so like you have to like get dimensions and all that right and everything, and it has to be so secure.
Otherwise you fall and die.
Literally. You can't have that happening. So but that's really
especially
fun.
not with kids.
Yeah, that's super cool that y'all did that.
We were into building lots of stuff. We tried to build flying skateboards like from Treasure Planet.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like Back to the Future.
That too. Yeah.
Kind of hover.
We had one with like a parasail on it, but we obviously could never make it fly. We were 9.
It's like we weren't magical creatures.
And one time I tried to build a helicopter to go see my dad because he lived in North Carolina.
How were you building that?
Just with like cardboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't see why it didn't work. I don't see why it didn't work.
It was like a neat idea.
I think that's how they make the like military grade ones.
Yeah, I think so. That's actually never mind. Nothing. But anyways, they're not having a party inside the mine. It's mine. Apparently, it's at the.
It's in the rec areas. Yeah, it's in where like the employees, have their, children.
Probably where they clock in and stuff, and it's above ground.
Where they fuck. Just kidding, my bad.
Where they fuck. But then the bartender's basically saying, "Don't say I didn't warn you," And then he goes out there and he's going to set a booby trap to basically scare the kids.
Titty trap. Yeah. Because he's like, now this is, and he's like, this will treat them to, you spit on Harry Warden's name. Honestly, I don't know why he cares so much, but yes, he is trying to freak them out. And he's so impressed with his work too, because he's just like playing with it. And he's just like, and it's the way that he goes back for that third time to just like look at it again.
Yeah, he like opens the door, keeps laughing, and then he just he's so pleased with his work. Mm-hmm. And then he leaves, but he hears squeaking in it. Yeah. And that would make me hesitant, but this isn't me in this film. Mm-hmm. And so he was also probably drunk, right? Because I think he had alcohol with him whenever he first was starting it. Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like he wouldn't be sober.
Yeah. And then he goes back and he opens the door, and lo and behold, it's Harry Warden coming out, and he sticks that pickaxe right into his little chin.
Right into his chin. His chinny chin chin.
Little meat hook thing. We've got 2 chin deaths in a row. We've got this one, and then we'll see next week.
Yes, we do. Yes, we will.
A chin death.
I was like, ooh. But we are.
I forgot that we recorded this backwards.
It's okay. Next week, guys, another chin death. And it's a pretty gnarly one at that.
It is.
And we have the chief then checking the mines at this point. Not even checking the mines, really. He just checks the fence, and then it's just like, okay, it's locked. That's good enough. And then that's whenever we have the kids, after he leaves and drives off, the kids arrive at the mine.
Yeah.
Don't they?
And
is that because the chief had gotten a call that like, oh, hey, no, that's not yet. That's not yet. My bad. That doesn't happen yet. Mm-hmm.
We just see that it's February 14th and all the kids go to the mine to have their party, because we got like some timestamps throughout the film, like saying February 13th.
Some diegesis.
And then February 14th now, and then giving us like little actual timestamps. I just didn't write them down. But
it's called diegesis.
Diegesis?
It's a really weird word, but in my film class that I'm taking right now, like stuff like that, it's called diegesis, which is basically like anytime there's like text or other things on the screen that are not a part of the actual film universe, if that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see.
It's like stuff to let us know what's going on. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Like diegesis. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said at first. So that's why I just kind of brushed over it.
You're like, oh, that's his Tourette's again.
Speaking of Jesus, I made it to 666 days today on Duolingo.
Ah, yay. Jesus' favorite number.
It was. And then also for this Zoom meeting, it was 5666.
Oh, was it really?
So today is Satan's day.
Isn't that an angel number? 666?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder what that one means. I actually don't know anything about angel numbers, but I just know that they're in threes, right? It's like 444, 111, like la la la. And so then we have and we have
that's good.
And Michael Jackson just pops up from the dead. Sorry,
from the dead,
from hell. Oh, my bad. Oops. I mean, he's in heaven.
Probably where he is.
And we're not all going to be there. I feel like heaven is a very exclusive club, super exclusive.
Yeah.
But like not in like the ways that it's not like you have to be a good person to get up there. I think like you just have to be like super cool. Like, I don't know, like really cool. Like
Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's going to heaven. Tony Hawk is definitely going to heaven. Dude, and he's actually a really good person too. Actually, he's really nice. Yeah, he's man. He'd be up there for sure. Him, Betty White.
Yeah, oh yeah, Betty.
Betty would be up there. Yeah, and
I think that's
it. That's it. It's just them two, and
then it'll be us when we get there.
It's true. It'll be a fun party. And so then we also have Chief back at the station, and there's another officer there, the only other officer we've seen throughout the whole movie so far. And he is saying like, hey, Chief, this, heart-shaped box came for you. And the chief is like, ah, fuck. So he sends the other police officer to go get like coffee or something like that. And he opens it up, and it is another present from Harry himself, warning them about
It's actually just chocolates.
Oh no, you're right. Because that's not until here in a minute when he's like, there's still a party.
He steps outside, yeah.
Yeah. You're right. It's actually just chocolates, and it's actually even more fucking sad because it's from fucking Mabel.
It's from Mabel, yeah. Showed up post-mortem. Which I thought could have been still. I thought maybe that he had chopped up what I thought, because I thought he was going to eat the chocolate. And I was thinking that it was the bartender chopped up and then dipped in chocolate. Like his fingers, like the knuckles, like chopped each knuckle off and then dipped them in chocolate.
Or like liver.
And then put them all in there. Yeah. And just
like cut up
because
pieces
it
of
looked
liver.
like little rectangle things. So that's why I assumed his fingers and his knuckles.
His digits.
But I thought that they were chopped up and dipped in chocolate, and he was going to bite into it and it would be like bone.
And it would be like, all like 1980s and close up. And he's like,
and then
it fades away. And then it cuts away abruptly.
Yeah, that's totally what I thought was going to happen. But it turns out it was just real chocolate.
Real chocolate. It's just
from
chocolate.
Mabel. But then this is where we get Babyface Dave.
Babyface
we flash back to the party. And someone calls him Babyface, so I end up calling him Babyface the whole time.
Oh, okay. He's gay.
Yeah, he looked it.
He's very gay.
And then he, and he's going to get a hot dog.
Yeah.
That's the gayest thing you could do.
It is. And he's like, I got the munchies. Well, it's even the way that he was like, with the I guess the greasers used to do that back in the day, but like it was very like, metrosexual, if anything. But he is in the kitchen. He's trying to get a hot dog from the hot dog pot that's boiling. But then fucking Harry Warden shows up behind him and just starts pushing his head down into the hot dogs. And it's funny because at first it's almost like he's like being like, oh, who's that?
Yeah,
because he's like,
who's kind of kinky.
Yeah. But
gets then he grabbed from behind.
Pushes all of his head all the way in. And I thought that, literally, I actually thought like, that's why I even thought like, man, this is a for sure like subtle like choice. Like they're being funny. I feel like that, like this is a very gayish character. And then they have him going to get hot dogs, and then he's getting his head pushed down as someone would giving head. Two hot dogs. So yeah. And poor thing though, that's a really like getting your face basically boiled away. Like, and also, how do you die? Do you just like pass out from complete shock first and then your body dies?
I feel like, and then also you would probably drown.
Oh, I totally forgot about the water aspect, but like that's crazy to me. Like that's horrible. Yeah, shit.
But I imagine shock has got to get you in there at some point.
Right? Because I'm like, at some point it's like, because it's so hot. Because you don't pass out when you're getting drowned. But I can only imagine that if it's boiling hot, you're like, there's no way.
And you're like intaking that into your lungs and stuff too. Ouchie.
I'm going to look that up after the show. But we have finally, we have it's the bartender's body right at the doorsteps of the police station or whatever. And we get the note that says, you didn't stop the party.
Yeah, I think it was just a little Valentine, because we see the bartender later.
Okay.
But I think it was just a little Valentine that was covered in, I think it had his blood all over it. And he says, yeah, you didn't stop the party, written on it, on the bloody Valentine. It was because it was covered in blood. Roll credits. And then he's like, what party, basically?
I love how he's like screaming it out as well.
And then we flash back to the kids, and Howard is drinking beer through his nose, which I have done. Have you ever done that?
No, can't say that I would like to do that.
On the first episode of my old podcast, What's Your Excuse?
Mhm.
I talked about how as a kid I used to drink soda through my nose.
Why would you do that?
I liked the way it tickled. It would bubble up in your cavity, sinus cavity, and then it would like go in one nostril and come out the other.
Well, I mean, I've
Um,
had stuff go up my nose because of like you inhale a drink or something. At like sometimes, like, and that's never pleasurable though. That's never been
yeah, I
pleasurable.
just thought it was fun. I thought it was a
Ah,
funny feeling, and a cool party trick, and so
yeah.
I would do that,
Is that what
and
you were
then
doing at the parties while you were getting fucked up at 9?
yeah, yep, and then I also would snort like Lucas salt, like so
Caitlin.
beer salt. So I'm pretty sure that's why I have a deviated septum now. Um, but I wasn't the smartest kid. I also would eat fire ants. So when we played Fear Factor, so did
Oh,
lots
but
of dumb
that's
things.
different. That's Fear Factor. You weren't just
Yeah,
eating random fire ants. Did
that's
they ever
true.
bite your tongue or your mouth?
Yeah, it was not pleasant. But so at like 22 or 23, no, I must have been like 26 actually. I
You were still
decided
doing
to
that?
snort beer on the first episode of What's Your Excuse?
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
at the end of it, I snorted beer and it was not a pleasurable experience. It burned really bad,
yeah. Yeah. I can only
but I've
I
done
feel
that.
like that would be the thing because I've had like stuff. It's like when you have water go up your nose and it like doesn't feel good. Like when you're swimming.
Yeah. No, it burned really bad. I was not
But
a fan of it and I won't do it again.
you were also a masochist, so I feel
Yeah,
like
it's true.
I feel like you're a glutton for pain, Caitlin. I'm like a sissy. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't like any
No,
pain.
thanks.
No pain for me.
Yeah, it was
And
not
so
fun.
we have the guys fighting over Sarah because they're stupid, and Sarah is just kind of like, you're both being jerks. And Axel throws the
Yeah,
first
Axel's
punch at
not
TJ.
letting her speak for herself either. She's like,
Yeah.
"I have a mouth," and then
Hmm.
TJ's like, "Well, use it to tell him,"
Hmm.
and Axel's like, "Tell me what?"
Yeah, it's
So
very high
dramatic.
school drama, and we have them getting into a little spiral, yeah, because that's a word. We have them getting into a little quarrel,
Quarrel,
essentially,
spar. They're sparring.
sparring, and then Howard breaks them up, and then we have Axel leaving, and then TJ tries
He
to like
makes sure to grab a beer on his way out
oh
while
yeah,
he's throwing a tantrum. He like slips his hand over there so fast and like
he does.
opens the beer with one hand. And I was like, "How did you do that?" First off, but
Because he's a
it was pretty impressive.
psychopath. And he
Yeah,
ends
he
up
is.
leaving, and we have TJ trying to console Sarah, but she's just like, I don't. I'm actually. She's just kind of like, I don't even like want to be here or be with you anymore. I'm gonna walk out, and so she walks out, and that's whenever Patty follows her, and she tells. I love how she's like, "Come on" to Hollis, and and it's just kind of like, damn, the bros got to follow Patty and Sarah. Um,
Yeah.
and that's whenever we have we cut to the couple that kind of we saw them dip out earlier, and they are in this like boathouse type, or not boathouse, but like a room where they keep all the outfits for the miners.
Yeah, oddly hanging from the ceiling. It was a
Yeah.
very weird room.
Mhm.
Also, when Axel slipped out, this is when I started catching on
Yeah,
that it was.
I actually thought it was TJ
Oh, really?
for a while there. Yeah, I
I
thought it
could
was
see that.
TJ.
TJ had crazy eyes.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, and then
but
because like he had gone away and then he came back, and so and I think that's what they
yeah,
probably wanted us to think. Um,
I never
but
once thought it was TJ. For some reason, Axel just gave me those vibes. And the moment he stepped out and like started banging his head on the wall, I was like, that's dramatic. He's the
that's
killer.
crazy. Yeah.
And
That's
then
crazy behavior.
eventually I
Well, let
I
me tell
don't
you,
write it
I've
in
done
my
that before. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I have also slammed my head onto a kitchen counter and like almost broke my nose and then
Uh,
passed out in my own blood.
I think that's why you
I
have a
think we're both
deviated septum.
unhinged. Yeah.
I don't think that it was the snorting. I think that because you get a deviated septum from like blunt trauma, like
Well, but I was told I had a
right?
deviated septum. Well, I think the deviated septum could be from my years of color guard and being hit in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
because I have one too, but I didn't have one prior until I ran into a tree.
until
Like
that
just
tree.
Yeah.
But
this is where I started catching on that Axel wasn't
Axel isn't who he says he is. Actually, he really is, but he's doing things that he shouldn't be.
Yes.
And
but we're with that couple doing it on the bench underneath a bunch of weird hanging clothes.
But she wants beer.
Yeah, she wants beer. So John, or whatever his name is, gets up to
trying to be good.
Get up and gets the beer and leaves her there, which I was like, well, that's not a good sign. And then we flash back to the hot dog room, and we've got two girls gossiping over which guys they like, and they find a boiled heart, but they don't know what it is, but it looks like a little heart that's been boiled. It was like gray. It was disgusting looking.
Boiled, yes. And it was very thick as well. It was pretty big. Honestly, it was pretty massive.
Big old heart.
And then they're like, oh my God. And then this other dude, is it John? It's John. Yeah. He's like,
he's grabbing the beer out of the fridge.
Must have been Howard. And then you can see fucking Dave's body in there.
Yeah, baby face in the fridge with his face melted off. And he's just in there, and they miss him because he's looking away as he grabs the beer from the fridge. And it was just perfect timing that he didn't actually look where his hand was grabbing.
Yeah.
Because then he would have seen him. But then we flash back to where Sylvia is. That's the couple who is doing it. And all the showers are turning on. I called her Purple Shirt until they said, Sylvia's dead. And then Sylvia. I was like, oh, her name's Sylvia.
She had a really good, I was like, damn, Sylvia's selling it. She looks scared as fuck. And especially the whole running, and then looking back, type of thing, you know?
Yeah. Because she, all of a sudden, we got kind of when they were in there about to get it on, he was like, yeah, you just pull the cord and the clothes fall down, kind of thing. And so she did that, and then they laughed about it. But now all of the clothing starts, somebody's turned all the shower heads on, and then all of the clothing starts falling down on her, and she's freaking out because everywhere she turns, something's falling down. And then the bartender falls down from the ceiling as well.
Oh, that's right.
His chin on a hook thing. And so that's where we see him dead. And then we basically flash back to John walking in and him saying
he thinks that she's trying to take a shower with him.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, hell yeah. He's excited. And then he walks in there, and then we just see him drop the beer can, and you can see just this silhouette of Sylvia's face with her head, I guess, being shoved onto the shower head.
Yeah.
And the water was coming from her mouth, which I thought was fucking awesome.
I wish we could have seen more of that or seen it happen, but I want there to be a remake. I know there is another one that's 2009 or something like that, but it doesn't necessarily go to the same beat as this one. I want a complete remake, but where we actually get to see these deaths, because I feel like they'd be so cool to see now. Yeah. And actually get to see Mabel get thrown into the fucking dryer, still alive basically, and then
shot
turned
of
on.
Her in the dryer,
literally, and she's just yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I want to see that, but I do.
I'm with you, because I thought this death was really fucking gnarly, and I liked it. I was like, this was good. And then we flash back to the whole crew, and they are now suggesting to actually go down into the mine, like we talked about earlier. And TJ tries to stop them, saying, no woman in the mine, kind of thing. And this is why I didn't think it was TJ, because he was here during this moment.
It's true.
And stuff. And I was like, I feel like it's Axel, because Axel's the one that's been missing the whole time. But yeah, he tries to stop them, and then they end up going into the mine. It looks super fun. It reminds me of Gringotts and stuff, and going all through the bank and on the little cart, and Jack and Daxter or some shit.
Yeah, it does. It feels very adventurous. Like, who wouldn't want to go, like we talked about earlier, into the mines? Like, I feel like that would, like, I would want to tell people, hey, I'm going here. If I don't come back in like 2 hours, please check on us. But like, that would be so cool to go down there. I don't know. I've always wanted to go like spelunking too, and like cave, like, people go into the cave
Diving and stuff.
caverns. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really interests me. But obviously, I am not equipped or have the experience to do any of that. I would die immediately. But
Yeah, same.
it seems really cool though. And we have them basically going down into the mines. It's all very fun. This is really great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what they don't know is that Harry Warden is out on the loose and some of their friends are already dead. And also, I'm thinking, like you said, like we're saying, it is really cool, but also, like, this is so dangerous. Why are we going to the mines where we know that, like, things can blow up? And, like,
Especially when they look at the abandoned section and
yeah,
go, let's go in here.
yeah.
And like, you wouldn't go there in the day because you know it's unsafe and stuff could
Mhm.
collapse on you, stuff could explode. And then
Let
they're
alone the
like,
night.
yeah, to go in there with only one of them the one couple had the lamp,
Yeah.
and then Hollis had the headlamp on, but there was no one else had a light source.
No. Yeah.
And so, like, when no one's fully equipped, like, why would you go into this part of the mine?
Because they're horny kids, young adults. All they're thinking about is having a good time and sex. Because
Yeah.
immediately we have Mike and Harriet trying to break off to go do the deed.
Yep. And Howard hears something behind them.
Yeah.
Howard already is like, it's probably some rats. And follows up behind him. And then, yeah, Mike and Harriet split off. And then back up at top on land, they find Babyface Dave and Sylvia.
Yeah.
John comes back in panicking, saying, like, he looks like he was in complete shock. He was
he was
acting.
not taking it well.
No, he was doing a good job of acting, though. And then a homegirl is screaming because she was like, his face.
He's in there. He's in there.
And then this is where Axel comes back and he's like, Dave is dead. And then they all start panicking. And then everyone's like, ah! Screaming. And then Axel and TJ join forces to go save Sarah and the others in the mine. Because then they're like, the others are in the mine. And Axel's like, how could you let them go down there? And he was like,
and he's like, if
they're down there.
And then he's like, if anything happens to them, it's on you, essentially.
Yeah, trying to shift that blame because it's his fault.
Yeah.
And then we flash back down to the mine, and now they're in the oldest part of the mine. So he was like, this part of the mine was built in like the 1800s. And I was like, yeah, y'all do not need to be down there.
For real.
But they're down there, and then Howard like comes down from the rafters and scares them, which I imagine would have been a pretty good little jump scare. I was paying attention to my notes, so it didn't get me. But I imagined that's what it was there for, and it probably got some people. Yeah.
But I feel you on that. And then we cut to Mike and Harriet, and they're in a whole separate section where they branched off earlier, and they are making out.
Yep. And they're laying down, and then you can tell that they're being watched. Like, members of this down there are being watched. We're getting kind of those first person POV shots where you can see that that's happening. And then this is where they're coming back down the corridor, and Harry starts coming behind them, shattering all the lights.
Yep.
And
I love how they're like, Howard is like, I hear something, and then Hollis is just like, oh, it's nothing, or it's rats. And then it obviously does not. It's very like,
yeah, it sounds like glass shattering.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a rat.
It's not a rat.
But oh well, I guess you're scared and that's logic for you. But then we're back with the chief, and the kids, they roll up Blondie with John and someone else roll up, and they tell the chief what happened. They're like, Sylvia and Dave are dead. We had a party, blah, blah, blah. And he basically is like, okay, get back in your car. And then he gets in his car, immediately radios for backup, and is like, okay, we got to shut this down.
Yeah.
And then they finally meet up with TJ back down in the mines. It's a lot of flashing back and forth what's happening in the mines to what's happening up top. And they meet up back with TJ, and he's telling them basically, Dave and Sylvia are dead. We need to get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. And then they're all like, what? But then they immediately split up to find Michael and Harriet. And I was like, no.
Because TJ goes to look for Mike and Harriet, right?
Yeah. Oh. And Hollis goes off as well, and they leave the girls with Howard.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. From the get.
Howard does not seem reliable in the slightest.
And once again, we have movies back to back where people are splitting up where they probably should not split up.
Exactly.
You're supposed to stay together as a unit.
Yeah. Splitting up, always a bad idea. And so then someone finds them dead. I'm not sure if it was Hollis or if it was TJ. I think it was Hollis, because no one comes back to tell, like, no one tells them the others are dead.
That Mike and Harriet are dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was Hollis. And then as he's sitting there looking at the dead body, then Hollis gets shot in the head with a nail gun. Yep. And then this reminded me of Final Destination 3. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they watched this and that's where they got the inspo from.
They did. That was. They went into the future and then what? No, I don't know. You mean Final Destination 3?
Yeah.
They might have. They might have. I'm not sure. I'll probably have to look it up. But I mean, I feel like they're also different enough that it might have been its own idea. You know what I mean? Especially because in Final Destination 3, they work in a hardware store. So that just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure. We'd have to ask. But even if it wasn't, I'm sure they'd just be like, "Oh yeah, it totally is. It's paying homage." Like, because right when it's like
My Bloody Valentine, to a classic.
Yeah.
But he gets shot in the head with a nail gun, and then he comes around the corner and falls down dead right in front of Patty and Sarah and Howard.
She loses her ever-loving shit.
Patty is not handling it well.
She really loved him, I guess.
Yeah, because she was like all over his little dead body, like cupping his head and stuff. And then we see the person coming down the hallway, and we're like, it's time to go. And Howard's like, bye, bitches. He leaves them.
Yeah.
And then Axel shows up, which made me again be like, this is awful convenient.
Because he was just, the Harry Warden was just right there.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's Axel. And then, so I was like,
Oh, and even right before this, she had to slap Patty. And even the slap didn't bring her out of it.
Yeah. Patty,
Sarah, like, she was still immobile. Like, she could not. She still didn't even really react. She was just like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, Patty, get up. It's time to run, like right now. But then Axel finds them successfully. They finally get Patty up and they drag him off. And then I was like, Patty's about to get them all killed in this instant. Like, come on. And then this is where they're coming around the corner and we see someone approaching from the other side, and you're like, oh God, is that Harry Warden? And fucking
Axel.
Yeah, Axel just smacks the shit out of TJ with a giant log.
Like a log? Yeah, it was a log.
It was like a big log thing. But yeah, that's what happens there.
Yes. And then TJ's like, what's the matter with you? You're gonna kill me. And he's like, well, yeah, because we're on defense mode.
Yeah, we're scared.
And then the chief arrives to the scene at the mines with like all of the police people. Oh no, not yet. It's just him at this point. Excuse me. And that's whenever the kiddos are trying to get out of the mines, but they end up coming to is it where the carts are or not? It's like a different area and they can't get out
Yeah,
and take the
it's
thing to
the
go up.
elevator.
Yeah.
There's like a little elevator and the control panel was smashed. So they were stuck. So they decided to climb that big ladder to get them out. And fucking goddamn it, Patty. She's like getting up and they've
I would have
crawled
left
up.
her.
Yeah. But she was behind two of them.
Yeah.
Or in front of two of them. And so she was behind Axel, which at one point too, whenever it shows Axel shimmying up the ladder even faster when they told him to slow down, and then Howard's body comes down, I was like, that looks suspicious. So he got up there, went to the top, and then like threw his body down and then crawled back down.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Which is very psychotic. Excuse me.
Yeah. And almost improbable. Like,
yeah. Like, how did he have the time to do that? Or how did he set that up? Or like, I don't know.
Like, because he couldn't have had maybe he put Howard's body up there whenever he ran over, or maybe Howard got up there and he saw that they were in front of him and he killed him really fast. I don't know. Not really sure how it happened, but it's movie magic.
I think that has to be it. Is that Howard was already maybe like hiding up there or something, or just kind of up there, and Axel runs into him as he's up there and he's just like, okay, whatever. And then like throws him down. And then they're like, oh my God. Because he was with the girls, that whole time, because Howard had ran off and then he was with them. Like there was not a time when he was, so I feel like it was like inconvenient, like just poor timing on Howard's part.
On Howard's part, yeah.
Was just there at the wrong time.
Yeah. And then, so that happens. Howard's body falls down. Before that, Patty almost slipped and she's like, I'm afraid of heights, you guys. And they're making Sarah like climb up right behind her.
Yeah.
Like that must have been so hard for Sarah to climb like that.
For sure.
But then Howard's body gets like hanged and his blood splatters all over them. And then he falls all the way down to the bottom. And so they're like, let's go back down now. He's up at the top.
Yeah. And then Axel's like, he's fucking with us at this point.
Yeah, all the while. But then they're going into the
rail cars.
Yeah, they're having to cut through some area that has a bunch of water.
Yeah. And they're going through these tunnels,
a shortcut to get to the rails. Cars.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they round the corner and Axel's like, let me know when y'all make it to the other side. And then we just hear a splash after they make it. And Axel got pushed in. And this is where I was like, it's Axel. Like first
gave it away for you.
Certain. I was like, it's Axel.
I just thought he fell into the hole and he was gone. And then that's when I thought even more so, oh, maybe it is TJ, because he was so like, well, we got to move on. Let's go.
He did. They left his ass so fast.
Yeah. They were just like, whatever.
They were like, TJ was like, we got to go.
And he was like, that is 60 feet. That is 60 feet deep. There's nothing we can do for him. Let's move
he was
on.
like, this is his problem now.
Yeah.
And so, they left him so fast. I was like,
yeah, even the girls were just kind of like,
we can't leave him. And then, then they were like,
turns around. We can't leave him. Turns away, walks off.
Yeah.
And they end up getting to the, they have to split up because the girls have to go like one way. And then TJ's like, I'm gonna go this way. But then it's like, there's like a rock fall or something, because then like, he gets blocked off, right? There's like rocks that start falling. That's what it sounds like to me.
Something happens, and he
you don't
like
see.
Disappears. Yeah,
because it doesn't show us. Because the girls go over and they're like, TJ, and then that's whenever I believe Harry comes back up, right, and starts chasing them.
Yeah, because it's just Sarah and Patty at this moment, and then
Patty gets impaled.
Yeah, Patty rounds the corner, and Harry just like puts that pickaxe into her stomach. And again, Sarah leaves so fast. Sarah's
She's
just like, bye, bitch, like in stride. Didn't even hesitate.
Like,
she was just like, and we keep running. which
Yeah.
is like, honestly, that's hopefully what I would do too, because that's
Sarah's
what
a good
gets
final
you
girl.
safe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's what you would want to hope to do, but damn, it's a little heartless. Um, and then TJ, she runs into TJ, and
Hmm.
then this is where we've got the chief now up top with the whole town basically. It was
Yes.
he had when he called for backup, he called for
The backup
backup.
arrived.
They
It was
came.
like the county.
Yeah, they were all there. Yeah, maybe he did ring up the next town over and stuff too.
Hmm.
And then they
That's whenever we have Harry on the rail car. They get into the rail cars, but then like Harry is behind, like, on jumps on and is like right behind him, TJ and Sarah. And then we end up having this like
and Sarah
fight.
just stared at him for the
Oh
longest
yeah.
time as she was as uh what's his face? TJ was fiddling with the remote.
Yeah.
Like he was walking up and Sarah just stared at him and I was like, say something, Jesus Christ, like what
Hmm.
are you doing?
At this point,
And
I don't know if she had been like in flight mode the whole time, but she like froze in this moment.
yeah, she did. And yeah, but
Hmm.
then they're on that rail car, like you said, and they're fighting with a
Yes.
little axe. Harry has his axe, and then they've got a shovel looking
Yeah.
thing.
Very much a shovel, and they're going back and forth. It's very much giving like boom, boom. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, but they're giving highs and lows because it's like, oh my gosh, is something? Is TJ gonna get fucking stabbed by the pickaxe? Because honestly, too, that's such a hard weapon to defend against, even with the shovel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, from both ends, especially. And so we have them
Yeah, I
going
imagine
further.
getting hit with an axe would like, and look, his name is Axel. And
Oh yeah, that's true.
he
That should have been a
uses an
good
axe.
pickaxe. That's a dead giveaway. They were telling us from the
It
beginning.
is.
And they end up jumping off of the rail
2 weeks
cars.
in a row though with a movie with axes.
Oh, that's true. And they jump off, and then the rail cars end up they keep going while they're having their like little battle royale. And we have the police and the mayor coming by the rail cars, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna go further." And there's blood on the rail cars, so the mayor's like, "Oh my god!" And then we get to cutting back to TJ fighting against what's his face, because they go through like a tunnel opening, like a side tunnel thing, and it's
Yeah, a little
really tiny.
offshoot.
It's really tiny as well. And I'm also thinking as like Harry is like um Axel at this point. Anyways, Axel is just throwing that pickaxe around. I'm thinking like, man, he's gonna get them buried alive in there because they're like destroying like all of like the columns and stuff and all the
Yeah, he
wood
was
that's
taking
keeping
down
things
all
up.
the walls and stuff,
Yeah.
like just shattering them. And that's how Sarah is able to pick up the rock, which that was a big ass rock. And I was
She's
like, damn,
strong.
Sarah must lift some weights because
Hmm.
she chunks that rock and it hits Axel. And I was like, hell yeah. Or it hits
Hmm.
um, Harry. And then she rips off his mask. And lo and behold, it was Axel.
It was
This was still
Axel.
like I had a feeling it was him, but it
Hmm.
was still a nice like I still
Like,
was like, "Oh shit, I was right."
yeah,
Like
okay.
because I
It
never
confirmed.
get the killer right. Like in Scream, I always had it wrong.
Hmm.
And so I was like, "Oh, it was still a pleasant surprise for me."
Yeah, I thought at this point too, I was like, well, at this point it couldn't have been TJ, but for some reason I was just still like, well, I guess it could have been Axel, but I just also just didn't think it was Axel as well. At this point for me, I honestly thought, damn, okay, it really is Harry Warden.
Yeah, that he had really come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
And,
that for the first little bit, but then I started cluing in with Axel.
mhm.
Like, it
Um,
really solidified on the ladder, and then once
mhm.
he fell into the water, I was like, "No,
Nope,
it's
it's
gotta be
it.
him."
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
And then we have uh oh shit. What do we have? This is whenever we have the place caves in, right?
Yeah, place caves in, and we also get a little flashback because they're asking, she's like, "What? Why?" kind of thing. And we get this tiny flashback of Harry Warden killing one of the two officials who were up top and neglected their duties and left, and the two that got killed a year later. And we see a young Axel underneath the bed watching his father get his heart ripped out. And so,
And this was also very like Michael Myers, like reminiscent to me as well, like this whole scene.
yeah,
Especially the
definitely
little boy under the bed.
covered in blood. And yeah, and so it was just like, okay, this Axel is off his rocker. And then the place caves in, they go outside, and he was like, "It's not Harry Warden." And
It's
he was
Axel. It's
like,
Axel Rose. Just kidding.
yeah. He's like, "I know it's not Harry. He died 5 years ago," kind of thing. We just got the call. And then they're like, so he was like, "Well, who is it?" And he was like, "It's Axel." And they go in there, and he's like just laughing maniacally. His arm has been chopped off underneath the rubble, kind of thing. And he's like, "Sarah, my bloody Valentine." And he said, "Harry Warden made you pay." And then he just laughs like maniacally to the end of it.
Yeah.
And then we roll to a black screen with the credits. And this ending song is like a little custom song made for the movie. And it kind of went hard.
It went hard. You liked it?
Yeah, I was like,
On the
this
playlist?
is actually a good little song. I was like, this actually wasn't too cheesy.
I didn't stick around too much for it. I'll have to go back to listen to it. Because once this credits came up, I was like, okay.
Great.
Okay.
But I listened for a little bit to make sure that it was like indeed about the movie and not just like really lining up well coincidentally. And I was like, oh no, this is about the movie, and it's basically telling you the whole story
of what had transpired. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty
always cool when things do that as well.
But yeah, that's 1981's My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine. I think I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good like slasher and like 1980s film. I thought the kills were pretty creative, to be honest. Even though we didn't get to see them, I thought they were really creative, and I thought that they I liked how a lot of the film too was like it's at nighttime, so a lot of the shots are kind of dark, and the way they set up the lighting,
especially when they're in the mine too. It was almost hard to see it on my TV. I needed to adjust my darkness levels and stuff. Yeah.
And so I enjoyed the story. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, very we've seen that before. Maybe this is kind of the beginning of someone who is mentally unstable, I guess, or not all there is like gone away, and now they're back and they're gonna terrorize, I guess, or create havoc. Although I'm glad we've come a long way and now know that like mental illness and a bunch of other things are real, and like people go through shit. But I liked that played into it, but then it ended up being not even Harry, and it ended up being Axel, because that was a really good twist on it, and still kept it related to like how we had the information of everything that happened, and the only thing we were missing was that there was a little boy there that witnessed everything that happened, and that was Axel. And I thought that I don't know, I really like the title. I think My Bloody Valentine, like that was just really cool, like to make a movie that kind of centered around horror, but also Valentine's Day. And I like that the town was like all about Valentine's, and it was like Valentine's Bluffs, right? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, Valentine Bluff.
And I would have to give it a solid. Oh man. People are probably gonna think I'm gonna give it a 4. Like I know,
that's where I am
like
too.
Mike said he didn't like it, and I think there weren't like too many great ratings that I saw, but like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was
I liked
really
it
solid. I
I
like the
also
characters.
Yeah, they really like even fuck, what was his name that got the nail gun to the head? Or Howard
Hollis.
Hollis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hollis or Howard, like I feel like you still got enough emotional connection to their characters. So like even when their deaths happened, you were like, oh shit, that's kind of sad. And like
Yeah.
showing Patty grieving over him and stuff really humanized her. And then, I mean, just to have her picked off and then it had to be taken in stride. But I thought all the characters did a good job of like the acting was solid from everyone. And I thought they did a good job of having like again the having some emotional connection to them. So I really liked that. I liked the title, like you said, and I liked the title card a lot. And I think the deaths were probably what made me give this film a 4. Like I thought the dryer scene was super creative, and then the shower head scene was my other favorite one. I really like those 2 deaths. The others weren't as creative, but still they were pretty cool. And you got, I mean, for a slasher, it gave you lots of deaths. I mean, you didn't see too much blood, you didn't see too much happen. Like I wouldn't mind seeing a remake where they did basically a shot for shot, but then actually showed a little bit more of the gory details. But overall, I think it was a really solid film, and I love Valentine's Day. It's one of my favorites, and mainly because red's my favorite. Red and pink are my favorite colors, so I really like Valentine's Day. So to have a whole thing centered around, I thought the whole shots and everything that they were getting, like their decorations were also cute. I again liked that it was also Valentine Bluff and that they make such a big deal about their Valentine's Day dances and stuff.
I really liked that we got the like Valentine's things with like the blood and the notes, the creepy notes and all that. Like, that's a really smart way to use the holiday and like make it horror.
Yeah, because they definitely didn't. I feel like a lot of horror films like that are centered around a holiday kind of lose the aspect of the holiday within the film. But this one did a good job of maintaining it throughout the entirety of the film.
And even like it being like the crux of it is being like you can't have a Valentine's Day dance and they're having the dance. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was just really well done.
Because I wonder if like too like does Harry not give a shit if they have like a Halloween dance or like a Christmas dance? Like it's just like it's just only specifically Valentine's. Like it just can't be Valentine's. That's all.
Yeah. I guess like, because
they have it the day after and it doesn't like and just not call it a Valentine's Day dance. Like I wonder where the
when Galentine's came into play and now they have it the day before and it's Galentine's dance. Technically they're not breaking the rules.
I'm ready for fun facts.
Okay. It says in an interview with TerrorTrap.com, director George Mahaka said that the shooting location at Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia, was chosen because of its rustic atmosphere, and just how kind of dingy it was in appearance. It looked like a mining town. However, when the locals found out that the movie was to be shot there, they decided to spend $50,000 to have the mine painted and clean. And this was, of course, diminish the reason that the production wanted the location to begin with. And so Mahalka said that $75,000 of the film's budget was used to then return the mine to its original state for shooting.
That's crazy.
At that point, I would have just chose a different mine.
But the town spent $50,000 to, is that what you just said? To make it nice?
Spent $50,000 to clean up the mine. And then he had to spend $75,000 worth of his budget to return the mine to its original state.
That feels like some failed communication there, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, we can't have our shabby mine shown on television.
And meanwhile, he was like, this is why I love it.
This is why we're filming here. Yeah. The film was again shot in authentic mines, which were often as much as 900 feet underground. So not 2,000 like they said, but still really deep, and only certain lighting devices could be used in the mines because of the potential danger of methane explosions.
That's wild.
So that's why a lot of the shots were so
So people
dark.
really could have died.
Yeah, that's scary.
Mhm.
According to the makeup effects artist Thomas R. Berman, one of his gory creations was realistic enough that director George threw up at the sight of it.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Uneasy tummy.
The filming location of the Sydney Mines in Nova Scotia is a small Canadian coal mining town. The area was filled with closed pit mines, bootleg mines, and underground mines, which were shutting down due to economic and environmental issues. And at the time of filming took place. Since then, the mine used as the Hanniger mine, called the Princess Colliery mine, in real life has been dismantled, buried, and turned into a park/museum. And then, oh, here we go. The folk ballad that plays over at the ending credits was added by composer Paul Zaza as an afterthought. Zaza. The uncredited singer who, does the vocal for the ballad was Scottish-Canadian tenor John McDermott.
Oh, John. I'm just
John.
kidding. I don't know.
But yeah, that's all the fun facts that I have for you.
Wow. I love those. Those are really cool. That was the one that got me was the $50,000 to clean it and then $75,000 to destroy it, essentially.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the townspeople, they were like, fuck, like we're like, what the fuck?
We just wasted $50,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Pass this big initiative, use the city budget to do that, and then had to have it. I wonder if he had to clean it back up afterwards for them.
Right? Or then or pay them for what they spent for that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yay. Hello. But yeah, that's 1981, My Bloody Valentine. And those are the fun facts. And our boo ratings, it gets a solid 4 from your boo bays.
Solid 4. My voice cracked. A solid 4 from us. Yes. And this lovely podcast has been brought to you by the Rogue Media Network. We are not in the studio anymore, but yeah.
They're still producing us.
They are, and you can listen to our podcast and a lot of other cool and incredible podcasts on roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to listen to our podcast, you can do so on a slew of podcasting platforms, the biggest two being
Spotify
and also Apple. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And then make sure you tell your friends about us, even though it's not spooky season. It's spooky season all the time with us. So you can watch horror films all the time. And word of mouth is one of the biggest ways we can get out there. So please do that. And leave us a review.
And if you want to be ready for the next movie that we're going to review, that'll be The Strangers Pray at Night.
You Strangers Pray at Night. That's right.
Where you listen to our episode dropping next week.
And then you can talk about it with us. You can talk to us. We won't hear you, but it'll be fun. And then if you want to reach out to us, let us know what your thoughts on Strangers Pray at Night. Or after that, we're going to be covering X. And so and Pearl. So if you have thoughts on those films and you want us to read it on the podcast, reach out to us. Let us know your thoughts about them. And you can do that at Instagram at our one social media platform, and that is and
on Instagram at Boobays Podcast, and that's at BOOBAES, because we're your Boobays, not your Boobabes. And it's been a while since we've done that, hasn't it? Kind of got to get back into the groove of things.
We'll figure it out. Because now the whole start of it's messed up because we're not, as always, in the Rogue Media Network studio. So so the whole beginning's thrown off. So we got to find a new groove. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. It's funny though how the other episode went really good, and this one is definitely sounds like a first episode.
Well, we had a lot of technical difficulties in this episode too.
Yeah, exactly.
My audio and stuff failing and then my laptop dying and cats messing everything up. So
This is
hopefully y'all won't hear none of that. Yeah, I'll just stay out here from now on.
But okay, I think that's all, you guys. Until next time.
Until next time, you guys. Bye,
Bye,
bays.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.